Come on, yeah. You're not allowed to sulk so much on New Year's Eve.
What's the point, yaar? I'll still be pulling an all-nighter, right? Endlessly coding for this horrible boss who doesn't understand the concept of boundaries. Talk about ending the year in style.
Damn, that sucks. Can't you?
No, I can't. I probably could have had I scored a high SGPA like every other dude on my campus and landed my dream job. But no, instead I'm stuck in this hellish company where appraisals are an alien word. My parents keep comparing me to my IITian cousins. I have zero social life. I look at code way more than messages on a school WhatsApp group. Sorry about the rant.
It's okay, Rahul. I get where you're coming from. And I know you're not in the mood for a pep talk, but
Go ahead. Childhood besties have the license to drill some gyan into my head. In any case, you will soon become a hotshot therapist and I'll have to pay to.
shut up. Hot shot or not, I just want to be a good one. And as a society, we're kind of obsessed with genius, right?
Obsessed with genius. What do you mean?
You know, as children, we're like silly, stupid parrots in a cramped cage, and society keeps making us repeat the same words: IQ, IQ, IQ. We're constantly told that IQ, merit, talent will make our lives way better. Yes, they might make us poor parrots move from a rusty cage to a golden one, but we still feel trapped, right? Vincent van Gogh painted magic on his canvases. Marilyn Monroe dazzled the universe with her smile. Your teenage icon, Chester Bennington, made us sing along with passion. But at the end of the day, they all struggled with their emotions too. Closer home, even Deepika Padukone and Anushka Sharma opened up about their own battles, despite being at the pinnacle of fame. And I think it's time we realize that IQ is not our superpower. Emotional quotient is. Studies say that in more than 80% of the world's success stories, EQ plays a much bigger role than IQ.
Emotional quotient. Sounds pretty ironic considering our Desi parents have always given us one piece of advice. Beta, don't get too emotional.
You know, Rahul, it's not just our parents. We all tend to think of emotions as the typical overbearing Indian uncles and aunties who love showering you with unwanted lectures. We feel annoyed and inconvenienced because our emotions magically pop up when you least expect them. But just like our good old chachajis and chachis, our sentiments do have some great life lessons to offer, like Robin Williams' John Keating from Dead Poets Society. Our EQ can be a life-changing teacher who helps us carpe diem seize the day.
But Anjali, most of the times when our emotions they just go bonkers, then it feels like you're on this reckless, never-ending roller coaster ride.
With any roller coaster ride, you just gotta take a deep breath and hold on. Yes, sometimes our sentiments do behave like unruly kids in a kindergarten classroom. And this is when you need to get a hold of a badass yet inspiring mentor. Someone like Jack Black from School of Rock. And this is where Mr. Emotional Intelligence or EI comes in. As Gautama Buddha once said, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. It's quite simple really. Imagine that your brain is Akshay Khanna from Dil Chahta Hai. It's bound to get into a fight with Amir Khan, in this case your emotions, and you're perpetually caught in between like a poor and miserable self. When your emotional feeling brain and the rational thinking brain are trying to knock each other out, emotional intelligence steps in like a pro referee and handles the situation. I know, Rahul, by now you must be wondering about how to harness this strange superpower. I consider emotional intelligence to be an art form. If you do your riyaz regularly, you'll be a Panditji in no time.
But how? I have read tons of self-help books and motivational articles which talk about life hacks, but
Life's encryption is a little too complicated and can't be hacked that easily. But you can definitely load your emotional intelligence arsenal with some quality ammunition and some good old discipline. First things first. I know that we all love ranting, talking, blabbering continuously. We spit words like freestyle rappers on steroids. But if you really want to spike up your EQ, you can't just be a good speaker, you have to be a better listener. Listening is a lot like salt and pepper. No matter what you're cooking, if you mess up the quantity of salt, it can ruin your dish. Similarly, if you don't listen carefully, you might just let a conversation escalate into a fight or make a negotiation fall apart.
I would be a much better listener if I didn't feel like burning people alive when they give their umpteenth unsolicited opinion of the day.
I feel you. Yes, it's true that we all feel like fire-breathing dragons every time we get angry. And when the anger gets inside our heads, they basically turn into a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. But emotional intelligence also means keeping the fire brigade of rationality handy in any case there's an outburst. Just need to take a moment, remove yourself from the conflict, and give your angsty heart some time to cool down. Once you put this into practice, you will soon be a postdoctorate in anger management. If only we all used EI to manage our anger, the world in general and Twitter would be a much better place.
But what about sadness? Sadness and anger are like the two scary twins from The Shining. You cut one's head off, but the other keeps haunting you.
I get what you mean. You know, Rahul, our sorrows are like parasitic viruses. These stealthy bastards sneak into our system, and the more we think about them, the faster they multiply. The best antidote to infectious sadness is to not ruminate over it. Use weapons of mass distraction, such as the latest season of Money Heist, or a good old Murakami novel, or even a guilty pleasure Arijit Singh song. Whatever floats your boat and stops it from sinking in a pool of sorrow. Another powerful antidote to sadness is to simply write it down. Yeah, you heard that right. When you start penning your thoughts, rants, sorrows in a journal, you basically fasten your seatbelts for an intense journey of self-awareness. Maintaining a daily journal can help you access your emotions and realize what you're truly feeling. Let your dear diary become your magical book of spells that can help you in your duel against the evil witch of depression. Most importantly, you need to have a bird's eye meta view of your emotions. It's almost like flying a drone over your heart. Mindfulness exercises and meditation might sound boring in concept, but once you get the hang of them, you'll feel like a Sherlock Holmes in training as you unravel the mysteries of your mind. Practicing Vipassana, Zen, Pranayam, or any other form of mindfulness really helps you connect with yourself and understand your feelings non-judgmentally. Master these tools to tame the monkey mind and get your mind palace in order.
Wow! I never realized that navigating emotions can be actually such a tough deal.
Yeah, it's a lot like traveling on hilly roads during monsoon. You can drive fast despite the weather and end up in a fatal accident. But if you're patient and if you can master the art of waiting, soon enough there will be brighter and sunnier days. Yes, there can be landslides along the way, but you just gotta keep switching the gears of patience till you reach your destination. And let's not forget the importance of mental workouts. The part of your brain that acts as the control room for all your emotions is known as the limbic system. And training these parts of your brain like the amygdala, the hypothalamus, and the hippocampus can prove to be extremely useful. Both the body and the mind need a regular dose of cardio and Zumba to stay nourished. In fact, regular physical exercises and outdoor activities that help you vibe with nature are also great for boosting your EQ, since it helps in releasing dopamine, serotonin, endorphin, all the stress-busting and happy-making hormones that make you feel awesome. And you know how you keep negatively comparing yourself to everyone around you? Instead, you should try putting yourself in other people's shoes. By understanding not just their successes, but also their struggles and tragedies, if you look beyond the social media hashtags and filters, everyone's fighting their own battle. Let's be kind to each other. In fact, if you have a loving family and earn a salary decent enough to afford a roof above your head and 3 square meals a day, then you already have the privilege that only 10% of India's population enjoys. We gotta learn to count our blessings instead of dwelling on our disasters.
Wow, all this makes so much sense. Thank you, Sensei, for being the fitness coach to my malnourished emotional intelligence.
That's alright. But the good thing is, with practice, your EI will develop a six pack in no time. But there's one more crucial lesson to learn. You gotta consistently work on building your perseverance. Let me tell you a fascinating story of this one man who personifies and defines perseverance. This wonderful gentleman, Louis Zamperini, was a prodigious high school athlete in the 1930s, and he stunned everyone with his genius in long distance running. But perhaps Louis was aiming for a longer distance to run in his life, and this eventually led him to fight for the United States Army during the Second World War. And boy, was he a fighter! The greatest test for his indomitable bravery and relentless courage was when his plane crashed and he had to survive on a lifeboat for 47 long days, a feat that requires unbelievable resilience. But his struggles were far from over, as the Japanese captured him and brutally tortured him for months, trying to crush his spirit. But Louis was cut out from an invincible metal, and he never gave up, even though the demons of PTSD chased him long after he was released. You would think that Louis would become a bitter and broken man, but instead he used his magical mental strength and eventually went on to become a Christian evangelist who believed in the power of forgiveness. Can you imagine that this man, who actually went through hell, continued to go out of his way to inspire people and make them believe in the adage that it always gets better? Louis was hailed as a national hero and the Presidential Medal was awarded to him. Best-selling books were written about his life's journey, and Hollywood made several biopics on his incredible life, including the Angelina Jolie directorial venture Unbroken. But his life is truly stranger than fiction, and it makes us realize how trivial our problems are in comparison to what he faced. But most importantly, people like Louis make us realize that your emotional intelligence is a superpower that can see you through your darkest days.
Wow. That's one hell of a life story. I mean, I can't imagine ever being even 1/10 as awesome as this guy.
That's the thing, Rahul. EQ and EI is not a competition. Everyone reaches their finishing line at their own pace. And everyone's the winner, as long as you're able to lift your emotional burden with the grace and confidence of Mirabai Chanu.
You are right, Anjali. It all makes sense now. Maybe I've been chasing all the wrong things all this while. And probably my EQ has hit rock bottom.
Yeah, back in school, you were the kindest and most empathetic, most perceptive kid that I knew. I'm sure you'll ace your EI in no time. Sorry, that pep talk went on a tad too long, huh?
No, thank you. Really, I needed that. I have ignored my mental health for far too long. Thanks for whacking my head, really. Thanks for being a friend.
Speaking of friend, did you see the time, buddy?
Oh,
Happy New Year, Rahul!
thank you, Anjali. Happy New Year. Wow. Well, looks like this might end up being one special year after all.